You know what, for the video, yeah, I'm taking off this watch so I can show you guys exactly what I mean. What's up guys, it's Ida aka Ida Find Me, and I need a new introduction because this is long. So today's video is all about how I got rid of my eczema. I've been suffering with eczema for as long as I can remember. I think my earliest memories was lying down on the bed and my dad like rubbing this cream on the back of my knees because I used to get really dry itchy skin in the back of my legs, and we never really knew what it was. We never actually had the name eczema. Like when I used to get the small little round rashes, my dad used to tell me it was ringworm and I was really embarrassed by it, and I used to get it on my face. I used to get it like mainly on my arms and my legs. This whole rash situation is what made me not trust GPs at all, because they never gave me anything that actually worked. I went through using these like white creams to getting stuff from Kenya which burn. There was like this thing that my dad used to put on my skin and it would burn, like literally just dry them out completely, and it would just be really painful. I tried to take some pills because someone said that you should cure it from the inside out, and I remember actually in secondary school having one on my hand and feeling really embarrassed by it, that I literally, first I tried putting makeup on it and it would just be bumpiness, and like you could literally see there was something there I was trying to hide. I got a bandage and I literally wrapped my hand around with it, and I remember I would go around school with this bandage on my hand. I don't remember people actually asking me questions about it, but I was so embarrassed by these rashes that I had, and in my mind they were ringworm, they were really contagious, and then I was like, oh my god, I don't want people to see this. When I started going out with Luke and I had these rashes, I felt really embarrassed when he was touching my arms, for example, or something, and like he was going over one of them, and I was just like, don't touch there please. I think this is when I realized that it wasn't ringworm, when he never got any of it, because in my mind it was highly contagious, like anyone can get it by touching you. And then Luke never got it, and I was like, okay, maybe it's not ringworm. That's when I decided to start googling it, and I saw eczema and I saw the similarities between what I had and what I was seeing in the Google images. I was like, okay, that's alright, eczema is more common, people have eczema, that's cool. Now how do I get rid of it? I would know when it was about to come up, mainly on my hands like I mentioned. I would basically see a couple little dots on there and it will start itching, and then next thing you know, it spread, and it spread so fast. Like I remember the most clearest one I've had, because I have pictures of it. I think this was the last time I actually had it, was on my wrist. And if you guys watch the cornrow tutorial video for beginners, you might be able to make it out, but I had like a huge, it was humongous. It was like this, covered up my whole wrist. And that was around the time that I wanted to get my tattoo, and I wanted to get my tattoo on this wrist, but because of the rash and everything, and I was just scared I was going to get infected again, I was like, no, let's just get it on this wrist. So yeah, literally like it was sore, it was big, and then I was hearing people telling me that hemp oil would work, so I started to drink hemp oil. I didn't like the taste of hemp oil. I was putting it on my hand. My dad's like, Ida, use aloe vera. I was putting aloe vera on my wrist. I was doing all kinds. I was googling it, I was taking pictures to see if I was making progress with the like hemp seed oil and the aloe vera, but I was not making any progress at all. And the time when I really realized what was causing it was once when I decided to go, I think I went 2 weeks without milk in my diet. So I was like, okay, I just wanted to cut out milk to see what happened. And then before I actually cut that milk out, I remembered I started getting a rash on my hand, started getting a breakout on my hand, and then as soon as like 1 week after I stopped drinking milk, it disappeared. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is meant to have grown by now, because I knew that once that was there, there's no going back, because it just grew like mad. So I then was like, okay, maybe it's the milk. So I lasted 2 weeks with that, and then I started consuming like dairy products again, and then I noticed it will come back, the dots will start coming back, especially like I said on my hand or on my wrist, and I was like, yeah, it's the milk. So once I became vegan, when did I become vegan? July, I believe, July of this year. Once I became vegan, like literally not a sign, not one little inkling of eczema has come back. Like literally, I can tell you guys, hands down, if you have eczema, try cut out milk from your diet for like a month and see what happens. It worked for me. Like, I would, every time, summertime I'll get eczema, wintertime I'll get eczema. It felt like in my mind I was like, okay, whenever the weather was extreme, that's when the eczema will kick in. But then I started to notice the whole link between milk in my diet and getting these breakouts of eczema. I decided to do some research into it, and I kind of heard from the different documentaries that people are naturally intolerant to milk on some level. We have a natural intolerance because as babies we're okay, but as we develop, we start to develop this intolerance as adults, and majority of the time it is African people from African descent. Though I did read that it was, this article that I was reading was mainly about African Americans, and the African people born and raised in Africa had a different kind of experience. So I'm not too sure if it's about the kind of milk that we were getting or the stuff that they did to our milk. But for me, I'm not African American, there's not much about black British people for some reason on these articles, but I felt like a lot of the people that I knew had some kind of intolerance, or like, say if we had too much yogurt, for example, our farts would stink. Or if we had too much milk, like too much chocolate, then maybe our bellies would feel a bit weird. And I knew that for a fact for me, if I had too much Greek yogurt, if I had too many digestive chocolate biscuits, then my belly would be feeling funky. And I feel like as humans we have a certain level of intolerance to milk, and for me the way that it came out was in my eczema. Like, it would literally, yeah, you would have seen the pictures, okay? I was suffering. But I thought I'll just come on here and tell you guys that it's not always about what you put on it, it's definitely about what you consume. And I'm sure there's definitely creams out there that will help with eczema, psoriasis and all that stuff, but I truly believe it's to do with what you're eating and consuming. And if you change that, then look, change it and see what happens. That's all I can say. That's just a short story about how I got rid of my eczema, and I have not suffered since. I am so, when I tell you, I'm so happy that I became vegan, or that I cut out milk in the first place, because to me that was clearly a trigger. Hopefully this has helped somebody out there. Let me know if you have eczema, how you deal with it, whether you've become vegan and it's changed. Just let me know what you guys what experience you guys have with milk and with rashes on your body. Until next time guys, peace, love and light.